So the National Association of Realtors and the Department of Justice are at it again, and this time it's in the form of not just the class action lawsuits that have been filed, but now there are some settlements that have come across from local MLSs, essentially accusing the realtor community of getting together in some way, shape, or form to just fix our own prices and make way too much money and do backroom deals with each other that neither benefits the public nor does anything to advance the real estate community with regard to disclosure or honesty or anything of that sort, which we all know is a little bit crazy. But the Department of Justice has been pretty clear in their endeavor in the first place, which is to compress fees, essentially to make sure that we as an industry get paid less because apparently we get paid too much. Now you go to an appraiser and their fee is this, and we don't question that. And you go to an architect and their fee is somewhere between 8 and 18% of the total build cost. And you go to a builder and they say my fee is 15% off the top of that for my profit. We don't bat an eye at that, but yet for some reason or another, we, the realtor community, are the ones that are being called on the carpet for this. So I want to break down a little bit of what this means and give you a couple of options about what we can do to help ourselves further our community, do the right thing, and also be in a position of power to help our clients understand, should things be changing with regards to buyer agency, what's the deal here and what's the deal moving forward. So the big questions that they've asked is essentially around, do consumers have options? The Department of Justice seems to think that consumers don't have options. You just as well as anybody know that the buyer agency agreement has been changed to give you that option to either say that I'm going to pay my fee and we will do the best that we can to obtain that fee out of the transaction. If not, we will then have another discussion, a negotiation about whether or not we're going to change my fee based on the level of service that I'm going to provide. Or on top of that, here's my retainer fee, et cetera, et cetera. What this really does is helps us articulate, or at least gives us the option to provide a higher level of pro-consumer, high service quality of what am I actually doing, how am I arguing for the compensation that I'm due for, and my right to it. Because attorneys have been given a pretty big win in this whole scenario. And that to me presents a pretty big problem, but also presents a really big opportunity for us if we can articulate our value proposition, which means that we get better at explaining all that we do for people, whether that is getting a little bit more high and tight on my buyer and seller guides that I provide to my people at buyer and seller consultations, just exactly about what compensation is and how it gets delivered and what I do to give the value that in return I receive that compensation. Learning and articulating more about the tools and the services that I provide to my people and the business practices, whether that is from my marketing skills, the marketing resources that I have available to me, my negotiating skills, my tenure in the business, my ability to advocate for my clients, my proven track record over the years, or, hey, I'm just going to outline to you my business system. When you sign up for me as a buyer client, this is the service that you get. And perhaps I even go into saying, I can give you all of this, and this is my fee. I can also, if we're not in that strata, right? Because then you beg the question, well, what about people that are low-end buyers that now all of a sudden might have to face the possibility of being unrepresented if you do away with buyer agency or if you do away with buyer agency fees? Those people aren't going to be able to afford to pay somebody out of pocket to purchase a house. They're going to have to go at it alone. Well, you know what? I can also say that I can dial down my services. I can give you a more of an a la carte experience. It's not going to be the whole thing, but I can work with you. This is my negotiating piece, but it's because I know how to articulate my value as a buyer agent. I think our presentations need changing. Whatever your presentation looks like right now, I think it might need or warrant some editing. Thankfully, in South Carolina, in our license law world, we've done a lot of very thoughtful editing to our buyer agency contract, which allows us to be able to say, here's our fee, we can negotiate that, or you can come and have a retainer fee or other for my services. Then I can have that conversation with you. But at the end of the day, I see a couple of things happen here. This is going to take a long while for the National Association of Realtors and the Department of Justice to really flesh these ideas out and to let these lawsuits occur. I don't think you're going to see a lot of direct trickle down to our community immediately, partly because of our position with regard to dual agency and designated agency. But I also see here are the hurdles. You're going to see a whole lot of more buyers that are going to be willing to take their own risks and do it at their own peril, coming to task with trying to ask us questions without any agency relationship, of to which we can reply that we have a code of ethics to uphold. But two, Zillow buyer leads and Zillow leads are going to be in very, 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 very much so a strange position going forward. And relocation contracts are going to be up in the air right now. That's just a real possibility. What we can focus on, what we can't control is all of that stuff. What we can control is our presentation, our buyer consultation, the questions that we're asking, the value that we're articulating, and the options that we provide to the people that we serve. Our job is to protect the public. We have a code of ethics to uphold. The Department of Justice doesn't have that in mind. Our service is to our people, and our fee is only based on the success that we have and the things that we can provide to our clients. Let's go out there and let's make our presentations better. Let's know what we provide to our people. And let's be informed so we can have conversations that are much more valuable so that we can win more business at the end of the day and live life as a successful real estate agent. You guys have an awesome day.